Hello, and today I will be reading you a spooky story from this book, More Bones, Scary Stories from Around the World. Selected and retold by Ariel North Olson and Howard Schwartz, illustrated by E.M. Sist. Today's story will be The Gruesome Test from Japan. The Gruesome Test. Suitors came from all over Japan to woo a beautiful maiden. First they fell in love with her, then they ran away. Some were heard screaming as they raced down the road. Suspicious neighbors spread rumors. They suspected that the maiden might actually be a goblin or a fox woman. Her parents were mystified. Why did their lovely daughter terrify young men? She was gentle, happy, and hard-working. She didn't complain when helping her mother around the house and never wasted a single grain of rice when she cooked their meals. What more could parents desire? Grandchildren. That's why the couple wanted their daughter to marry. Besides, the aging father needed a strong son-in-law to help him grow rice, and he needed him soon. Arranged marriages have been tradition for as many generations as anyone could remember. But long ago, the father had decided to let his beloved daughter choose a husband for herself. One spring he began to regret his decision. He sat beneath a flowering cherry tree watching pink petals fall to the ground. Would his daughter's youth fade away as quickly as the delicate flowers? Just as he was losing hope that she would ever marry, a soldier came striding up to the house. "May I court your daughter?" asked the bold young man. The father liked his broad shoulders and muscular arms, good for planting rice. "Come right in," he said, and he happily introduced the young man to his daughter. The maiden moved gracefully about the room, serving the soldier tea and rice. She seemed shy, speaking softly and lowering her eyes. The young man seemed smitten. When the meal was over, she accompanied him to the door and quietly invited him to come back. "But not until midnight," she whispered, "and knock lightly, so you do not awaken my parents." He was surprised, but not half as surprised as he was when he returned that night. The moment he entered the house, she made a very strange request. "You must promise, on your honor," she whispered, "that you will submit to a test of your love for me, and promise that you will never tell a living soul what that test is." The young man couldn't imagine what the maiden had in mind, but he agreed to remain silent. "On my honor, I will never tell." "Then wait here," she said. She slid open the paper screen to her room and closed it behind her. The soldier waited impatiently. When she returned, she was wearing a loose white garment. Oddly enough, the handle of the shovel poked out from under the hem. "Follow me," she whispered. They moved through the village under a cloudy sky, with only fleeting glimpses of the moon. On such a night, ghosts were said to wander. The soldier followed the white figure ahead of him, careful not to awaken sleeping dogs. They slipped through the village streets to the woods beyond, hurrying down the dark road until they reached an ancient cemetery. When the moon emerged from the clouds, they could see old gravestones covered with moss and mold. Here and there, bamboo cups held wilted flowers. Weathered statues of gods stood guard, protecting souls. The maiden stopped by a grave that looked quite fresh. She pulled forth her shovel and began to dig, flinging clods of dirt to one side. Then she dropped to her knees and swept aside dirt with her hands. The soldier could see that she had uncovered a small coffin. Imagine his surprise when she lifted the lid. opened the white shroud and tore an arm off the corpse inside. Then she clamped it with her teeth and took a large bite. "If you love me, you will eat it. If you love me, you will eat what I eat," she cried, ripping the other arm off the corpse and tossing it to the soldier. He didn't hesitate. He took a large bite himself. Now he was even more surprised. He was eating a candy corpse made of sugar and rice flour. The maiden burst out laughing. "You are the only one of my suitors who's not run away. I want to marry a brave husband, and you are the one." You would think that the soldier would laugh too. The maiden was not a monster after all, but he glowered at her. "Only candy," he said. "I thought you were giving me much more." He grabbed her shovel and began to dig up a real grave. This time, it was the maiden who ran away screaming.